Ken Bader here with a video follow-up to the latest tip, how were your sales in January? And talk a little bit in the tip about finding a way to track the effectiveness of your marketing tactic or more important, your marketing plan, your marketing program. And promise to follow up on tracking and tweaking your plan. So this is going to be a little bit longer than the usual video follow-up, but bear with me because I think you'll find it useful. When it comes to tracking, I am a huge proponent, even as a brand expert, of finding a way to track the effectiveness of your marketing tactics and marketing plan. Especially for small businesses. We have limited resources these days, and the last thing I want to see people do is stop their brand communications and stop promoting their brand because they feel that they don't have the resources, or they feel that their marketing money is going into a black hole. And this goes for a lot of different small businesses. I see this with coffee shops. I see this with restaurants. I see this with salons. I see this with cigar shops. I even see this with credit unions and small banks where they're just afraid to do much, if any, marketing because their question is, well, how do we track it? How do we know if it's effective? And that's a very valid question. Case in point, I'll pick on one of my favorite restaurants because frankly they can take it, and they are a great restaurant. Tantalum here is one of my favorite places to go. I think that it's a well-run, well-branded place, and frankly the ad in and of itself is a well-branded ad. It's very well reflective of the type of place that it is. The problem is there's no way to understand if this is being effective or not. Probably the only legitimate way would be to have the hostess or waitress ask something of the effect of, well, how did you hear about us? And that's a pretty expensive ad. It's half a page and has multiple colors. And even as a large business, one that is making significant margin, don't you want to know exactly how well your marketing is doing and what is working and what's not? One simple way is just simply through a QR code, like these folks who I've never had the pleasure to work with or frequent. They have a little QR code right here, which not only brings them to their website and allows them to tell their unique branded story a little bit more, but also can possibly be tracked depending on how it's used. And of course, it's always a nice idea too to find some call to action in that ad to get them to click on that QR code and go to that site or go to that Facebook page. Also, I've talked before about rewards programs, and I think that those can be effective too, but a lot of folks use something like this, and this is perfectly fine from a basic level. It's relatively cost effective. This is a punch card from one of my favorite local coffee shops that has a great coffee and a great experience. But how do you truly track this? Well, there is a certain tracking mechanism. Obviously, you can see how many of these are full and get turned in, but somewhat limited into who's using it and how they're using it, how frequently they're using it. If you use something a little bit more sophisticated, like the loyalty program that we advocate from our strategic partner, Spot On, not only can you provide rewards for your customers, but also track exactly who's using it, how often they're using it, and frankly, if they're not using it at all, and also use particular marketing tactics through email, Facebook, Twitter, and some app marketing that can spread specific deals that are well branded for your business and also can be tracked to see how effective they are and to see if you're making that ROI that you require from your marketing tactic. And let me move on to tweaking just briefly. It takes a little while, especially if you have multiple tactics in your marketing plan for, to put it bluntly, for things to gel and for things to work. So in case in point in our small business tip, what your sales were in January, if you weren't quite happy with that, that's not the time to make a wholesale change to your plan and say, well, we're no longer advertising in this paper, or we're no longer giving out coupons, or we're no longer giving out passes, or what have you. The time is that's the time to ask the question of why. Why is it possibly not working the way that we would hope? And to go back into some of those numbers, if you can track it, and say, all right, what's working and what isn't. Maybe that tweak is just simply for something such as spot on to offer a different deal, to offer at a different time. Maybe to change the call of action if you can in your next ad. Maybe it's to add a call of action. Maybe it's possibly to add a QR code to a simple punch card that adds a different level of interaction and engagement. Maybe it's to do something different, like this is something that I've talked about before, the P-tag, or I like to call it kind of a mini billboard, because you're in essence using some space on somebody's drink that they've left for just a few minutes. Or if that doesn't make sense, using more QR codes or some type of trackable device, even if it's something that is very simple, such as, all right, we're a 3-person business and we can easily put out a coupon that isn't going to wreck our budget or our margin, but something where we can draw some new customers in and be able to simply track on a piece of paper in a 2-week period of time how many people are going to redeem this, so that we can understand and determine what our return on investment is for our marketing tactic, and most importantly, track its success rate of how it's being adopted, and then tweak as we may see fit. If you need a little bit of help in developing a set of marketing tactics into a plan, in help in finding a way to better track your marketing, and or a way to maybe tweak that plan a little bit, I can certainly help, and I could help in a number of ways. We've now introduced a couple of different levels to be able to meet the needs at different price points of the different small businesses out there for some basic business development help. So please don't hesitate. Again, my name is Ken Bader. I can best be reached directly at 630-854-6380 or via email at kbator, B-A-T-O-R, at btcinc.net. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I hope that your 2014 marketing plan is already a big success. Thank you.